Phone rang round about between 9 and 9:10, and the phone is over in the corner, so I just got up and picked the phone up. And a man's voice said, "This is the police." And he said, "We have apprehended 2 men who have been using your bank card." And the first thing I said, "Well, how can they? Because the card is here." And my handbag was near me, so I picked my purse out of my handbag. I said, "I've got the card in my hand now. How have they done that?" All he told me to do was I'd best ring the bank to let them know that somebody had been using my card. I switched him off and phoned the bank, and a female cheery voice said, "Hello, I'm Samantha, can I help you?" And then I told her what happened, and she said, "Well, you'll have to give me the numbers on your bank card, front and back." I gave them back. And she said, "Right, that is now closed." The man who said he was a police officer, he was on the phone to me. And now I come to think of it, he must have been on the phone all the time, although I switched him off. He didn't dial my number again, it was just he came onto the phone, he said, "What I would like you to do, if you can put your 2 cards in an envelope and seal it." Then he said, "Think of a password." I said, "I can't think of a password." "Oh, what's up, Doc?" That's the first thing I could think of. He said, "Right. Then in about 10 minutes, quarter of an hour's time, somebody will come and knock on your door, and they will give you the password." Then the chappie knocked on the door. He was standing back from the door, and he just said, "What's up, Doc?" So I assumed that was the chappie that the policeman sent. So I gave him the envelope. £300 was taken from the bank. Well, I've always been conscious about keeping my cards close to me, but it just makes me feel that I was an idiot to let him get away with it. If it happens to anybody and they are a little bit suspicious, put the phone down, ring the police. And I wish I'd done it in the first place.
May's an 89-year-old lady who lives in Gravesend, and she has unfortunately become a recent victim of what we're commonly known as the courier frauds. And this is whereby she's received a telephone call from someone purporting to be a police officer. That police officer has said basically that her cards were being used fraudulently, and one of the things she should do is contact a bank at the earliest opportunity and cancel those cards. So she has, to all intents and purposes, hung up on that caller, and she's dialed the number for her bank. But unfortunately for her, what the perpetrator has done is kept the phone line open. So actually when she's calling the bank, she's simply calling that perpetrator back. He has put her onto a female who's said that she's from the bank. And of course, May, as a trusting individual, has declared to that individual her card details, including her PIN number. The very sad case, an indictment really of this particular trend, is that the criminal fraternity are targeting the vulnerable and elderly in our community because they're trusting, and they're trusting of authority. So that's something we need to make people very, very aware of, particularly if you've got an elderly relative or your next door neighbour, a friend or a family who is vulnerable. Just make them aware, because the police or the banks will never contact you and ask for details in this way. So if you're at all suspicious, be willing to question that individual about their authenticity. And of course they will always ask you to call back. Now the one thing you must not do is call them back, because if you do go to call them back, there'll be no dialing tone, because they're keeping that line open. So be very, very suspicious if you hear no dialing tone, because you always will on a normal phone. Preferably, if you've got the use of another phone, use another phone and contact the police immediately and let them know what's going on.